Your eye doctor probably never told you this, but there's a real chance you're eating foods every single day that slowly cloud your lens, even if your vision still seems normal for your age. And that surprises a lot of people, because you do your best to take care of yourself, you try to eat reasonably well, your checkups look fine, yet you may have noticed that night glare is getting worse, bright lights feel harsher, and small print is becoming harder to see. The truth that almost no one talks about is that these changes aren't always caused by age. Many of them are triggered by what's on your plate. Recent research shows that certain common foods, especially the ones most people over 60 grew up eating, can speed up cataract formation by increasing oxidative stress inside the eye and gradually pushing the lens toward cloudiness. And because no one warns you about this, most people don't even realize it's happening. The encouraging part is that protecting your vision isn't about following complicated diets or cutting out everything you love. Specialists are now finding that simple shifts in your daily food routine can support the lens almost as effectively as early medical interventions, and you can start making those changes without medication, without surgery, and without spending anything extra. One study even found that improving nutrition alone reduced cataract progression risk by up to 18%, simply by choosing foods that nourish the lens instead of damaging it. So before your next meal, ask yourself, have you noticed more blur lately, more glare while driving, or trouble reading fine print? Do cataracts run in your family? If so, the next few minutes may be one of the most important eye health lessons you ever hear, because we're about to look at the 7 foods researchers say quietly weaken your lens, and the simple swaps that help keep your vision clear for years ahead. No strict diets, no complicated routines, just practical adjustments your eyes will appreciate deeply. Let's begin, because your vision is worth protecting. Food number 1. Ultra-processed foods and high-glycemic refined carbs. As the years pass, convenience foods start slipping into your routine almost unnoticed. A packaged snack here, a frozen meal there, a sugary cereal because it's quick. The problem is that these ultra-processed and high-glycemic foods consistently spike blood sugar, fuel inflammation, and leave your eyes without the nutrients they depend on to stay clear. A 2024 study showed that even small increases in ultra-processed foods raised cataract risk. And many people over 60 eat far more of these items than they realize. A morning with white toast, a pastry or cracker snack, and a microwave dinner may not feel harmful, but each one triggers oxidative stress and sends tiny shocks to the lens. Over time, those repeated spikes accelerate clouding and vision aging. Foods like white bread, sugary cereals, pastries, and crackers don't provide lutein, zeaxanthin, omega-3s, or antioxidants, the nutrients your lens needs to defend itself. Without them, your eyes are left unprotected. The good news is that small daily swaps make a big difference. Replace sugary cereals with oatmeal and fruit, choose whole grain bread instead of white, and keep nuts or fresh fruit on hand instead of packaged snacks. These changes lower oxidative stress, stabilize blood sugar, and give your lens the support it has been missing. Once you see how quietly ultra-processed foods affect your eyes, it becomes natural to question what other everyday choices might be impacting your vision. And the next one is a culprit most people never expect. Food number 2. Regular consumption of large amounts of red and processed meat. Many of us grew up eating meat every day, and there's nothing wrong with enjoying it in moderation. The problem begins when red and processed meats dominate most meals. Bacon at breakfast, sausage at lunch, steak or burgers at dinner, leaving almost no space for the nutrients your eyes actually need. Diets high in these meats tend to bring more saturated fats and inflammation, while offering very few antioxidants, vitamins, and plant-based compounds that protect the lens. When fruits, vegetables, beans, and healthy fats are missing, oxidative stress rises and the lens becomes more vulnerable to clouding. Studies comparing vegetarians and heavy meat eaters consistently show lower cataract risk in those who limit meat. Not because meat is bad, but because diets dominated by it leave little room for foods rich in lutein, zeaxanthin, omega-3s, and antioxidants, the nutrients that keep the lens strong and clear. Imagine 2 people, one eats meat 5 or 6 times a week and barely touches vegetables. The other still enjoys meat but adds beans, lentils, leafy greens, tomatoes, and grilled fish throughout the week. The second person gives their eyes far more protection. You don't need to avoid meat, just create balance. Swap a couple of meat-heavy meals for lentil soup, a bean salad, or a dish with grilled fish instead of sausage or bacon. These small adjustments lower inflammation and help your lens age more slowly. Once you understand how even familiar foods can quietly influence cataracts, the next culprit becomes much easier to recognize. Food number 3, high sugar beverages and added sugars. Sugary drinks are one of those habits that feel harmless on the surface. A soda with lunch, a sweet iced tea in the afternoon, a fruity vitamin drink that sounds healthier than it is, but inside your body they behave very differently, especially when it comes to your eyes. Every time you drink something loaded with sugar, your blood sugar spikes quickly, and that sugar binds to proteins through a process called glycation. Since your eye's lens is made almost entirely of proteins, those repeated sugar hits slowly damage it, making it more cloudy and sensitive over time. For someone over 60, the impact is even stronger because metabolism slows, insulin sensitivity declines, and the lens becomes much more vulnerable to oxidative stress. Most sugary beverages are ultra-processed too, which means they bring inflammation without offering anything your eyes can actually use. No antioxidants, no lutein or zeaxanthin, no omega-3s, nothing that strengthens or protects your vision. They deliver sweetness in the moment, but the long-term cost shows up in cloudiness and faster cataract progression. Small changes can make a huge difference. Instead of soda, try sparkling water with lemon or orange slices. Instead of sugary iced tea, brew your own tea and lightly sweeten it with stevia. Instead of fruit juice, eat whole fruits so your eyes get fiber and antioxidants along with natural sugar. When you compare someone who eats whole fruits daily to someone who drinks juice every morning, the difference is dramatic. One person protects their lens with nutrients, the other gets a sugar surge with none of the protection. Once you understand how quickly sugary drinks break down the clarity of your lens, it becomes natural to question what other foods might be doing the same thing, especially the ones that feel comforting and familiar. And that curiosity leads straight into another major culprit many older adults never suspect. Food number 4, frequent deep-fried foods or high-fat junk foods. Fried foods often feel comforting, warm, crispy, familiar, but inside the body they create an environment your eyes absolutely struggle with. Every time oils are heated to high temperatures, they break down into oxidized fats, and when you eat those fats regularly, they act like tiny sparks of inflammation that spread through your system. Your lens has no way to escape that damage, and over time those oxidized fats contribute directly to cloudiness, faster vision aging, and greater strain on every part of the eye. People often underestimate this connection because fried foods don't cause immediate symptoms, but research shows that diets low in antioxidants and high in damaged fats consistently raise the risk of cataracts. And fried foods usually replace the very ingredients that protect your lens: leafy greens, colorful vegetables, beans, legumes, and fish rich in omega-3s. Without those nutrients, the lens loses much of its natural resilience against oxidative stress. Fortunately, you don't have to give up flavor to protect your vision. Roasting potatoes with olive oil creates the same satisfying texture as fries. Baking chicken with a crisp almond or oat coating gives you crunch without the harmful oils. Choosing baked snacks or nuts instead of fried chips removes a huge source of oxidative stress from your routine. These small changes protect the delicate proteins inside the lens and help slow the progression of cataracts. It's eye-opening when you realize how often fried foods show up, not just in fast food but also in pastries, packaged snacks, and even some restaurant meals. And once you see how much damage these fats cause, the next question becomes obvious. What happens when someone not only eats the wrong things but completely misses the nutrients their eyes rely on? That brings us right into the next major factor. Food number 5, low intake of protective food/nutrient-poor diets. Sometimes the biggest threat to your eyes isn't what you eat, it's what you don't eat. When your meals lack color, nutrients, and variety, your eyes slowly lose the tools they need to stay clear. The lens depends heavily on vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and natural pigments like lutein and zeaxanthin, and when those nutrients are missing day after day, oxidative stress builds up quietly until vision starts to fade. Large studies in the UK showed that people who ate more fruits and vegetables had significantly lower cataract risk because those foods support everything from blood sugar stability to antioxidant defense. But when meals are mostly bread, crackers, packaged snacks, or microwave dinners, the body gets calories without nourishment. There's little fiber, almost no antioxidants, and none of the omega-3 fatty acids that protect the eyes from inflammation. Adding protective foods doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. A handful of spinach in your eggs, a spoon of chia seeds in yogurt, a bowl of lentils or beans a couple of times a week, or a piece of fruit instead of a snack bar are small choices that make measurable differences. These foods feed the eyes directly, giving the lens the support it needs to slow clouding and handle daily stress. It helps to picture two breakfasts. One is a white bread roll with butter and coffee, the other is oatmeal with blueberries and nuts. Both meals fill your stomach, but only one nourishes your eyes and protects your lens. Once you understand the power of protective foods, you naturally start seeing how risky it is to rely on meals that offer no meaningful nutrients, which brings us to the next problem many people don't realize they struggle with. Food number 6. Excessive consumption of simple refined carbs. Many people believe they eat clean, but their meals are built around white rice, white pasta, white bread, crackers, cookies, and pastries. These refined carbs taste harmless, yet the real damage begins the moment they enter the bloodstream. They turn into sugar so quickly that your body can't keep up, creating sharp spikes in glucose and insulin. Those spikes fuel inflammation and oxidative stress, two forces that weaken the lens and speed up the clouding that leads to cataracts. Your lens works like a delicate crystal. Every rapid rise in blood sugar hits the crystal with a tiny blowtorch. After age 60, when metabolism slows, the body struggles even more to control these spikes, making lens proteins extremely vulnerable to glycation, the chemical process that hardens, yellows, and clouds vision. Refined carbs only add to the problem because they offer no antioxidants, no protective pigments, and none of the nutrients your eyes rely on. The solution is simple and realistic. Choose whole grain or seeded bread. Replace white rice with brown rice, quinoa, or barley. Opt for whole wheat pasta. When craving sweets, pair fruit with nuts instead of pastries. These swaps slow sugar absorption, reduce inflammation, and support the nutrients your lens needs to stay clear. One woman in her late 60s once shared that her vision kept worsening despite avoiding soda and fried foods. But her meals were almost entirely refined carbs, white rice at lunch, white pasta at dinner, and a sweet roll in the afternoon. When she switched to whole grains, her energy rose, her weight stabilized, and her eye doctor even noticed slower vision decline. Small, consistent changes can transform eye health, and once you see how refined carbs affect your vision, the next question becomes obvious. What happens when the right foods are missing altogether? Why older adults are especially at risk? Your eyes often reveal the effects of aging long before the mirror does, and the reason is simple. The lens quietly loses its ability to repair itself as the years go by. It's built like a tiny crystal, beautiful, strong, and remarkably complex, yet it has almost no natural way to recover from damage. With time, the proteins inside the lens become stiffer and more prone to oxidative stress, which is why the nutrients that keep your vision clear matter more than ever after 60. In your younger years, your lens can take small hits from sugar spikes, inflammation, or UV exposure and bounce back. But in your 60s and beyond, those same hits leave marks that accumulate over time. And aging often brings other challenges. Diabetes raises glycation in the lens, hypertension weakens blood flow to the retina, years of unprotected sun exposure leave UV damage behind, and habits like smoking or poor sleep only add to the burden. But here's the part many people overlook. Older adults also have the most to gain from changing their diet and lifestyle. When you start eating more leafy greens, when you add foods rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, when you include fatty fish for omega-3s or reduce your processed food intake, your eyes respond. Not instantly, not perfectly, but meaningfully and consistently. At this stage of life, every healthier choice counts twice. It helps your eyes today and protects them for tomorrow. Now that you understand how these 7 foods affect your eyes, the real question is what you want to do with this knowledge. You can allow your vision to fade little by little, or you can take control starting today with small choices that create powerful long-term results. Every meal from this point forward can either support your lens or stress it, and the difference begins with one simple step, whether that's cutting back on sugary drinks, choosing whole grains over refined carbs, or adding more leafy greens and colorful vegetables to your plate. Tell me in the comments which habit you're willing to change first, because your ideas might help someone who's struggling with the same challenges. And if this video helped you see your health in a new light, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another eye health tip. And before you leave, tap on the next video appearing on your screen so you can continue learning how to protect your vision and strengthen your health. You deserve to see clearly for many years to come.